listeners to the BizBlend podcast with your host Sana. And today, well, this conversation is going to be really, really interesting. Now, as you know, on BizBlend, mindset meets strategy and hustle meets heart. Now, in this particular conversation, we are exploring how neuro-linguistic programming reshapes entrepreneurial thinking. And our guest is the incredible Irina Alexander. She's a serial entrepreneur, speaker, and founder of the Academy of Motive Action. So let's quickly decode success through the lens of neuroscience. So, with that, Irina, welcome to the show, and I'm really, really honored to have you with us here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so Irina, before we talk about our main topic, let's talk about how wonderfully. I mean, you are trained in everything from NLP to quantum timeline therapy. I mean, that's really really cool. So, uh, for our listeners who may not be very much familiar, what exactly is NLP, and what specific NLP tools do you believe can be or they are the game changers for early stage entrepreneurs who may be on the verge of facing burnout or maybe decision fatigue, or they may feel like they're stuck? Let's go to a big question.
Yeah, there's like 10 questions in one.
I'm so sorry for that, Rita.
All right. So NLP, neuro linguistic programming, I like things simple. I like to simplify things, and while I can use very sciencey big words, once again, simple is it's a language of your mind. Neuro means nervous system, how your brain works. Linguistic, the language you use. In programming, how you program. So it's a language of programming your mind. So, or once again, just your mind language. Because,
Mhm.
there's no manual for us how we think. There's no manual for our brain, what are processes happening there. Because
Mhm.
we all, as entrepreneurs, driven by numbers. We love to see statistics. We love to see reports. We love to see the P&L, profit and loss, and all of those reports. But behind every single number is a human being who drives that number. And behind every single human being is a behavior, because depends on the behavior, be- depends on the action that person is producing, that's the result, that's the outcome you receive. And what is behind every behavior? Why certain days we act or behave certain way? It's how we feel. You'll notice if you are in a great state of mind, you have certain actions. And if you are not in a certain very good state of mind, you might produce a different set of actions that lead to different results. Therefore, what we train and teach is neuroscience basis how what's happening in your mind, in your brain, and what are you focusing on that creates that behavior and therefore result.
Mhm. That's quite a simple explanation. Quite a simple explanation, Rina. Really good one. And yeah, I'll so for your comfort, I'll just hop on to the next part of the question. So, for early stage entrepreneurs, I mean, yeah, I can vouch for myself and my co-host and partner Vic that sometimes even if we are soulfully or we are internally aligned with what we are trying to build or the problem we are trying to solve for the people out there, sometimes it can be physically or mentally be really really taxing. We just could be thinking that my body needs rest. I just need to shut my eyes down. I just need to take some space and relax, and then I'll get back to this. But then there is, at the back of the mind, subconsciously, that fear or anxiety of FOMO. That's what we call,
Mhm.
keeps on running behind, and that is really really common among early stage entrepreneurs. So any specific NLP tools that you believe are game changers for them?
Yes, and first step is awareness. So it's beautiful that you know and realize what's happening. That, hey, on one hand, I have this extreme desire to be successful, and I believe that I have to work hard and do all the things. And on the other hand, is my part of me screaming for rest, and my personal belief system in what I teach and preach and practice myself is work smart, not hard. We live in a society of a hustle culture. I grew up in a hustle culture where you must do a lot of things, a lot of things.
Mm.
And I am quite opposite now. And I've seen the tremendous result as of 10x when you rest, when you let yourself rest,
Okay.
you actually become more productive. You can do more, you can achieve more versus being drained and dragging your feet or fingers on your keyboard and might not create the best results or outcome. I would start
Mm.
asking very unconventional questions is what would happen if you rest?
Mm.
What would happen if you not rest? For what purpose you are not allowing yourself to rest, because we are not programmed to question the status quo or what we've been told is true or must be done. So
Yeah.
as a simple NLP tool, one of it, which we call it meta programs,
Okay.
and that's where you start questioning the what you believe is your belief system, what you believe is true. So,
Mm.
what what would happen if you rest? Just ask yourself, what would happen if you not rest? Because and then you can just have more and more but actually not meta programs, meta model, we call it my bad on that. Uh and those are phenomenal questions to make you think. And you also, what our mind does, we either focus on the past and all the things that happened, or we focus on the future, and majority of the time, all the things that can go wrong. But
Mhm.
very rarely, or almost never, we know how to focus on here and now. And only our body is truly focusing on here and now and gives you a signal. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to be able to listen to your body and actually, hey, I need rest. Because if I just take a short rest, I can be more productive. It works
Mm.
beautifully if you allow yourself and also remove the guilt and shame around it and all the society norm of must have and all of that. Because then I'll question according to whom? Who said you must?
Mm. Oh, those are really, they can be really some tough questions to ask yourself. But yes, it all starts with awareness, that
Mhm.
realization. And before we further dive deep into this, I'm really interested to explore more about your journey, Irina. I mean, you mentioned that you were born into a culture which kind of glorifies hustle. I can connect with that because in my culture as well, if I'm not working, if I'm just trying to take rest, then I may look to some other person as not productive or kind of not responsible enough. So
Mhm.
uh, I would love to know, I mean, what exactly brought you into this world of NLP and then entrepreneurship? What was that moment? What, kind of changed everything, the status quo for you?
Yeah, I personally went through burnout. I personally went through the time in my life when I was working too much and experienced a burnout. And I didn't even know that I was in a burnout. I was in such a huge hustle mode. Then, all the red flags and signs, you just became a norm. That's what entrepreneurs do. They don't sleep enough, they drink too much, they're everywhere, they wear 20 hats, and that's what we've been taught and told, and nobody says that it's not okay, and just feeling drained every single morning, waking up and just thinking, "Oh my god, another day. What's gonna happen today?" Running, teams and people and so on, and one day I was just like, "I don't wanna do it anymore." Whatever things that were happening, they were not bringing me joy. And it was like the purpose of life at certain point was almost lost. Like, for what purpose am I doing that if I'm not experiencing joy? Because I was chasing success so badly. And outside people would say, I want to be like you. And they saw the success. They saw, a nice house, a wife for over 10 years, two beautiful kids, successful business, brand clothes and shoes, like all the signs of success that people would think they make you happy. But deep down, I was just so unhappy and miserable. And all of that was a mask. And if so, on the journey of being successful, I realized that true success is ability not only to generate wealth, not money, but wealth, and also to be happy. And only then it can truly be called success. Because at the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, are you gonna think about all the unanswered emails, the calls, and so on, or cherish
Mm,
some memories that you created for yourself, for your loved ones?
absolutely. For our loved ones, the moments we cherished, the good moments.
Mhm.
Oh, great, great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Irina. And yes, I think the worst part of burnout is that it's late. I mean, it's too late to realize that we are going through that burnout. We are burned out, and then our body starts to give up. Our body starts to give up, and slowly and slowly, it kind of um, has this parasitic effect on our mental health as well. So, thank you so much for sharing that. Um, but Irina, you also achieved top 1.6% status in a male-dominated field within just 2 years. Yes, I mean that definitely took a toll on your mental and physical health. But what unconscious patterns or internal language did you have to unlearn or rewire to get there?
First and foremost, I had to learn to be flexible. We
Mhm.
come with a very strong background. We are programmed to think certain way, to behave certain way, especially being from a different culture. So in
Mhm.
one way, it served me well because of the work ethics and very high standards. But at the same time, in American culture, the way you deal with people, the way you communicate with people is very different. It's much softer culture. And that dictatorship or very direct approach is not accepted. It's not very well accepted. So I
Mhm.
definitely had to learn to be flexible in my behavior and adjust to the culture to know how to do business with Americans and still be true to myself with my belief system and say, hey, this is okay, this is not okay. But at the same time, realize that you have to adjust the way you do business based on the culture you are in and the people you're working with, because you can only go so far alone. And if you do want to grow a business and not just be a solopreneur working by yourself for yourself, then you need to have a certain leadership skills, because I love to say that managers kill businesses and leaders make it thrive. And therefore, you need to learn how to be a leader, how to lead people, how to communicate with people. And so I had to unlearn um, my old ways of communicating with people.
Mm. Hmm. Wow. That's really bold. And also, how exactly did NLP help you in this? I mean, uh, I think first and foremost, whenever we have self doubt, most of that comes from a kind of that self critique within us. That we are always trying to judge ourselves. Those self limiting beliefs. They always try to kind of sabotage our potential, limit our potential. So then, how exactly NLP helped you shift yours?
Mhm. Well, first, once again, awareness. It helped me to bring to the surface what was holding me back. And then one of the most powerful techniques is the quantum timeline, as you mentioned, where it helps you discover what is the root cause. What is the very, very first event when you believed in that? And a lot of times it's not what you think it is. A lot of times, as you might know, our brain is formed in the very early ages before age of 7. And so
Yes.
sometimes it's the beliefs that were installed because before the age of 7, we don't have any filters. We take everything as is without questioning. So if somebody tells a child that not good enough, or if you're not doing a good job, or you need to work harder, whatever that is, that's being taken in unconditionally, that as a pure truth. And so then you become an adult, and all your life, all you do is trying to prove yourself because you feel like whatever you're doing, it's still not good enough. And you keep doing and doing. So, what quantum timeline helps to realize is what is the root cause? What is the origination of that belief? So, once you know that, you can remove that belief, you can rewire that belief, and then it changes from that point forward, it changes the way you see yourself, the actions you take.
Hmm. Another interesting part of your work is the CARES approach, CARES, and it is built for high stress roles, like the first responders and high performers. So, how does it apply to entrepreneurs who operate under constant uncertainty and pressure, especially, those who they are in startup phases or maybe they're solopreneurs?
So, CARES framework is the one that is proprietary that we've created because not only I started with NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and then added many more tools and modalities and studied from uh, a lot of different teachers. And what I do is what I call my superpower, right? I go out there, I see what it is, and then I bring it to the real world experience and how you can practically utilize it. And that's where the CARES approach was born, is the group is we just made those tools applicable and available and easy to digest. That's the first step of starting point, where the byproduct of everything that we teach there is emotional resilience. But emotional resilience is usually, people say we teach it, we do, and it's a byproduct of all of the things. It's byproduct of regulating your nervous system, because as you can do that, you're becoming more resilient. Awareness, as you become aware what's happening in your nervous system, you can regulate it through certain tools and techniques, and therefore you become more resilient. So the CARES approach is overall umbrella with the practical tools and step-by-step system and method that we help high stress professionals to utilize that framework to create meaningful change. And it's not a magic tool. It's like you go to the gym and you build your muscles, right? And byproduct is you become healthy. You know, you can go for a walk for a longer period of time, you can chase kids and so on. So emotional resiliency is byproduct. It helps is a byproduct for high stress professionals. It helps them to a point to leave work and at work and be more present at home. So we call it a mental fitness, right? People go to physical fitness to become healthy, and what we do is a mental fitness. So they
Yeah,
can become mentally healthy and just feeling good, not only outside, but inside as well.
that's well. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Great, great. That's brilliant, Irina. So, if our listeners would like to connect with you and dive deep into the resources you're providing, the work through the Academy of Motive Action, what's the best way to do that?
Our website, motivaction.academy, is a great place to start. It has all the social links to all of the different social media platforms, as well as our email and phone number, and quite a few free resources. So please check us out and connect with us.
Wonderful. I'll make sure to have all the links in the show notes. And Irina, thank you. Thank you so much, first of all, for sharing your journey and also helping us understand at such a deeper level on how NLP can be so much instrumental in mastering our mindset, having that mental fitness, as you mentioned. So, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, listeners, if today's episode has sparked a shift in your perspective, share it with someone in your entrepreneurial circle. Until next time, on BizBlend, stay bold, stay blended. And this is your host, Sana, signing off. Thank you.